The hereditary Grand Ducal family of Luxembourg visit a retirement home in Mersch. Princess Aiko of Japan confirmed to graduate from university later this month. The British royal family attend the 2024 Commonwealth Day Service celebration in London. And King Frederik X and Queen Mary of Denmark host a gala dinner in Copenhagen. All this and much more coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. My name is Alexandra, and welcome to your Royal Daily News for Monday, March 11th, 2024. In Copenhagen, Their Majesties King Frederik X and Queen Mary of Denmark, accompanied by Her Majesty Queen Margrethe of Denmark, hosted a Medal of Honor gala dinner for officers who have been appointed colonel or commander and corresponding civilians of the Danish Armed Forces, the Air Force, and the National Emergency Management Agency, held at Frederick VIII's Palace at Amalienborg. The Medal of Honor dinners are held annually and alternately between the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the National Emergency Management Agency. According to the Royal Court of Denmark, quote, on his birthday, March 11, 1953, Frederik IX instituted the Medal of Honor of the Armed Forces and the Air Force as a parallel to the Medal of Honor of the Navy, which, as the first Medal of Honor, was already instituted in 1801 by Christian VII. End quote. Earlier in the day, His Majesty the King visited the Technical University of Denmark, DTU, Skylab in Lyngby. According to the Royal Court of Denmark, the 5,500 square meter DTU Skylab, complete with research laboratories, workshops, auditoriums, and project rooms, quote, supports more than 300 startup projects, which include both research and innovation-based teams. The King received an introduction to the DTU's work with innovation and entrepreneurship, after which His Majesty had the opportunity to meet a number of the students and researchers who use the facilities in DTU Skylab. End quote. Back in Copenhagen, Her Majesty Queen Mary of Denmark held a meeting with representatives from the United Nations Population Fund, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Danish organization Maternity Foundation. During the meeting, the Queen was briefed on the status of maternal mortality. The discussions also focused on, among other things, quote, how partnerships, innovative approaches, and digital solutions can contribute to women, regardless of where they live, having access to a safe pregnancy and birth. End quote. Meanwhile, the Royal Court of Denmark announced that Her Majesty Queen Margrethe of Denmark will create the costumes and set designs for the upcoming ballet performance entitled Claude's Hans, based on the book by Hans Christian Andersen. The ballet performance will premiere on June 22, 2024 at the Pantomime Theatre at the famous Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen. In a press release from Tivoli Gardens via Ritzau, Queen Margrethe said, quote, there are so many possibilities in the fairy tale about Claude's Hans, who is a person you can't help but like, and that gives us many possibilities on stage. I've created work for performances at the Pantomime Theatre before, and I have a good feeling for what works well on the small stage. I am looking forward to getting started with that, together with other forces behind the stage. End quote. In the past, Queen Margrethe has created the costumes and set designs for 6 performances at the Pantomime Theatre, including Cinderella, The Tinderbox, and The Swineherd. The first performance in Tivoli that the Queen was involved with was Love in the Box in 2001. Queen Margrethe has also helped to create 2 critically acclaimed ballets in Tivoli's concert hall, The Nutcracker and The Snow Queen, where she has created more than 100 costumes and several set designs. In Brussels, Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Victoria, Sweden, along with 31 NATO allies representatives, attended a flag-raising ceremony at the headquarters of NATO. On Thursday, March 7th, the Kingdom of Sweden formally joined NATO upon, quote, depositing its instrument of accession to the North Atlantic Treaty with the government of the United States of America in Washington, D.C., end quote. With Sweden's accession, NATO now has 32 countries among its members, including the kingdoms of Denmark, Norway, Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, and the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. In a statement from the Secretary General of NATO, Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, quote, this is a historic day. Sweden will now take its rightful place at NATO's table, with an equal say in shaping NATO's policies and decisions. After over 200 years of non-alignment, Sweden now enjoys the protection granted under Article 5, the ultimate guarantee of allies' freedom and security. Sweden brings with it capable armed forces and first-class defense industry. Sweden's accession makes NATO stronger, Sweden safer, and a whole alliance more secure. Today's accession demonstrates that NATO's door remains wide open and that every nation has the right to choose its own path, end quote. Flag-raising ceremonies also took place simultaneously at NATO commands across Europe and North America. Congratulations, Sweden. In London, Her Majesty Queen Camilla of the United Kingdom, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Their Royal Highnesses the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal, and Their Royal Highnesses the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester attended the annual Commonwealth Day Service of celebration held at Westminster Abbey. The theme for Commonwealth Day 2024 is One Resilient Common Future, Transforming Our Commonwealth. According to Buckingham Palace, the Commonwealth represents a global network of 56 countries, having been most recently joined by Gabon and Togo in 2022. Quote, working in collaboration towards shared economic, environmental, social, and democratic goals, the service seeks to highlight a vast community that spans every geographical region, religion, and culture, embracing the diversity of its population of 2.5 billion people, of which over 60% are under 30 years old, end quote. While His Majesty King Charles III of the United Kingdom was unable to attend today's event, a pre-recorded speech from the King was played during the celebratory service. In the afternoon, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales attended an event to celebrate the Earthshot Prize Launchpad. The Earthshot Prize Launchpad is an, quote, online matchmaking platform built to connect a community of mission-aligned investors and philanthropists with a curated set of solutions, end quote. On the occasion of Mother's Day 2024, Kensington Palace released a photo and a statement from Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales. Quote, thank you for your kind wishes and continued support over the last 2 months. Wishing everyone a happy Mother's Day. Signed, C. The photo of the princess along with her 3 children, His Royal Highness Prince George of Wales, Her Royal Highness Princess Charlotte of Wales, and His Royal Highness Prince Louis of Wales, was taken last week by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales in Windsor. Hours after the lovely photo was released, the Associated Press and AFP pulled the image and the story from their platforms, including social media, and requested that their clients remove the photo and story as well. Why? Because, quote, at closer inspection, it appears that the source has manipulated the image. No replacement photo will be sent, end quote. In other words, the photo was edited, photoshopped. No big deal. Everyone does it. Naturally, drama ensued, specifically on Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called. Everyone is freaking out like it's the end of the world, or that someone put liquid aminos on their crispy egg rolls instead of soy sauce, and that their whole life has been ruined. Anyway, this morning, the Princess of Wales apologized for editing the photo. Quote, Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. I hope everyone celebrating had a very happy Mother's Day. Signed, C. End quote. This is so ridiculous. Every single royal house edits their photos. That is a fact. The AP knows it, AFP knows it, Reuters knows it. I don't know why they're picking on her. It's ridiculous. So silly. On Saturday evening, Buckingham Palace released new photos of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh on the occasion of his 60th birthday on Sunday, March 10th. The palace also confirmed that His Majesty, King Charles III of the United Kingdom, quote, has been graciously pleased to appoint His Royal Highness to the most ancient and most noble Order of the Thistle. The most ancient and most noble Order of the Thistle represents the highest honor in Scotland. Revived by King James VII, the order has a complement of 16 knights. End quote. In Tokyo, Her Imperial Highness, Princess Aiko of Japan, will graduate from the Gakushuin University on March 20th, 2024. According to TBS News, the princess, who is enrolled at the Department of Japanese Language and Literature, submitted her graduation thesis last December on the theme Medieval Waka. Next month, Princess Aiko will begin working as a contract employee at the Japanese Red Cross Society. This afternoon at 2:46 p.m., Their Imperial Majesties Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako of Japan and Her Imperial Highness Princess Aiko of Japan held a moment of silence at the Imperial Palace on the occasion of the 13th anniversary of the Great East Japan earthquake. In Madrid, Their Majesties King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain presided over Dia Europeo en Recuerdo a las Víctimas del Terrorismo, held at the Galería de Colecciones Reales de Madrid. Today's commemoration event, organized by the European Commission and the Spanish government, is held annually to remember those who were victims of the March 11, 2004 Madrid train bombings. 192 innocent people died, and over 1,800 people were injured. In his speech, the king said, quote, "The history of terrorism in Europe is a history of shared suffering, but also of solidarity among Europeans. And therefore, on this day of remembrance, I want to especially value it. Because wherever there has been a terrorist attack, there has always been an extraordinary social response, an immediate action, a kind gesture, and encouraging attitude. This is what happened in Madrid, which was completely mobilized in the face of tragedy and horror. That Thursday, March 11th, Madrid was a true example of solidarity that we continue to admire 20 years later. The professionals of the public emergency services, health, firefighters, the FCS, the city, the community, and national, and so many citizens all gave the best of themselves to help and care for the injured and the families of the victims, most of them workers and students of multiple nationalities. In the worst situation, the human being showed that he was capable of the best." End quote. The event ended with Their Majesties meeting with the victims of the attack, who gave their testimony during the commemorative event, with ambassadors and with all the attendees. And finally, Their Royal Highnesses, Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume and Hereditary Grand Duchess Stephanie of Luxembourg, along with their youngest son, His Royal Highness Prince Francois of Luxembourg, visited the CIPA Blenheim retirement home in Marche. According to the Cour Grand Ducal, during the visit, the hereditary Grand Ducal family participated in, end quote, intergenerational activity between the residents and students from a local nursery school, end quote. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I will be back tomorrow on Tuesday, March 12th, with all the latest royal news, including Their Majesties King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia of Sweden's state visit to Estados Unidos Mexicanos, and Crown Prince Haakon of Norway's attendance at the military exercise Nordic Response in Alta, Norway, and so much more. So, I hope you all will join me on Tuesday. Until then, I sincerely wish each and every one of you a wonderful afternoon. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell so you won't miss an episode. Okay, again, have a wonderful afternoon, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.